Hello and welcome again to Not Fake News. Don't forget to share, subscribe, smash that like button. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do something. If they tell you you can't do it and they're not happy for you, then they're no good. Got a bunch of breaking stories to get into right now, so let's do this. First, Israel is in imminent danger. Look what Iran's supreme leader just told Muslims to do. Look at these two pieces of crap. The supreme leader of Iran just gave the green light to destroy Israel. Muslim countries are harmed by discord and benefit from unity. Palestine is in number one issue of the Islamic world. According to the Islamic jurisprudence, when an enemy takes over Muslim lands, jihad in any form possible becomes everyone's duty. Today, the fight against the Zionist regime is wajib, obligatory, and necessary for Muslims. Why do some evade this duty and shall prefer tweets? Just the supreme leader of Iran calling upon all Muslims to embark on a jihad to destroy Israel. Nothing more here, nothing to see here. Kindly, right? Oh, just that. Yeah, piece of dirt. It's official. They've been sworn in. Who? Join me in welcoming the newest members of the House of Representatives, Representative Karen Handel of Georgia and Representative Ralph Norman of South Carolina. Welcome.
Will the representatives-elect present themselves in the well, please?
It's a minute long. In the well. It's called the well.
Members will rise, and the representatives-elect will please raise their right hands. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God. Congratulations, you are now members of the 115th Congress.
Yeah. Next. Anthem CEO just ended the healthcare debate. Anthem is one of the big insurers. Obamacare is not sustainable. Case closed, folks.
Of course, the recent news for you guys is making the decision to pull out of the Ohio exchanges. Tell us about what went into that decision.
Well, you know, it's a complicated decision, quite frankly, because it's got so many issues attached with it. At its core, we've been saying repeatedly now for well over a year, we've very carefully evaluated the sustainability of the marketplace under the Affordable Care Act. And we've also said that it's possible without the right kinds of changes with respect to funding levels and other regulations associated with the Affordable Care Act that we may have to exit certain markets because those markets are not sustainable.
Obamacare is simply not sustainable. Listen, Anthem CEO says it himself. We have a lot of stories. It's official. She's fired. A college professor from the University of Delaware was just fired for saying Otto Warmbier got exactly what he deserved. Update. Fired after controversial comments about North Korean prisoner Otto Warmbier. Professor, who routinely went on tangents. Updated. The University of Delaware professor who posted to social media is now media that now deceased college student Otto Warmbier got exactly what he deserved as a prisoner in North Korea is known for interjecting her politics into her teachings. Earlier last week, Kathleen Detweiler put up a post on Facebook, since deleted, but screen caps have been saved on Twitter along other platforms, which said Warmbier acted like a spoiled, Naive, arrogant U.S. college student who never had to face the consequences of his actions. Really? So being in prison and put into a coma isn't... I guess she means before that, and that's why he acted that way. Okay. She also said Wambia possessed the typical mindset of a young, white, rich, clueless males. She sees in class. I guess she's a rich, white girl, isn't she? Or maybe she's not white, but she's she's the teacher. I forgot. I'm sorry. And that she was like same kids who cry about their grades, or instead of crying about their bluster or threaten their female professors. Detweiler's Rate My Professors page features numerous comments about her giving attitude when you ask questions, being easily the rudest professor ever at the school, and being way too opinionated to the point where she becomes unprofessional. She's fired. Next. She doesn't even get that. We don't even show a picture. Look who just arrived in Afghanistan. Looks like General Mattis is back, but can't be sure. General Dunford arrives in Afghanistan Monday to finalize plans for adding several thousand more troops there. FoxNews.com reports the U.S. military's top officer, chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Joseph F. Dunford, Jr., arrived in Afghanistan Monday to finalize plans for adding several thousand more troops. 2 weeks ago, Defense Secretary Jim Mattis told Congress he will present a new plan for Afghanistan and the region in mid-July. We are not winning in Afghanistan right now, and we will correct this as soon as possible, said Mattis, who called for a new plan of fundamental change from the Obama administration policies.
This is the second high-level senior U.S. military officer to visit Afghanistan in the past 2 weeks, after the head of the Marine Corps, General Robert Neller, visited Helmand province to make his assessment on the way ahead. Officials say the new strategy in Afghanistan will look like the current fight against ISIS in Iraq and Syria. More troops closer to the fight to call in airstrikes and embed with local fighters. But this new plan carries risk. Earlier this month, 3 U.S. Army soldiers were killed by an Afghan soldier in what the military calls an insider attack. 7 other American soldiers were shot and wounded in a similar incident a week later. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis said he will present a new plan for Afghanistan and the region in mid-July. Mattis said it would be a fundamental change from the Obama administration's policy and offered this frank assessment.
We're not winning in Afghanistan right now, and we will correct this as soon as possible.
In February, the top U.S. commander in Afghanistan told Congress he needed a few thousand more troops after then-President Obama ordered roughly 1,500 U.S. troops out of Afghanistan at the end of December.
We skipped the step where you're supposed to be able to have a few dozen teams of advisors out in the field with key Afghan units to help them improve, to call in airstrikes and so forth. And so in a sense, what I see this decision by President Trump as potentially doing is repairing one of the holes in the Obama strategy.
There are currently roughly 8,400 U.S. troops in Afghanistan right now. No one at this point is talking about a surge of tens of thousands of troops like we saw at the beginning of the Obama administration. This is more of an adjustment to the existing strategy.
Next. With bodies piling up at CNN, Twitter post hints that something big is coming. James O'Keefe has everyone talking with his latest Twitter post. Following all the resignations at CNN, who knows what the future could bring? Independence Day is approaching, but this year, the fireworks come early. Stay tuned. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, so sometime between now and the 4th of July, James O'Keefe's coming out with something big. Next. You won't believe what happened to this beautiful woman in London on her 21st birthday. Oh boy. Rasham Khan was horrifically burned in an acid attack in London on her 21st birthday. Happy Acid in Your Face Day. That's what the That's what happens when you let all these refugees in. She's in London. Beautiful London. Eiffel Tower, close by, right? Acid attacks are common in Muslim nations, but not in Great Britain. That's not true. Well, maybe it is, but all I know is in Sweden, there were 1,500 acid burns. 1,500 in like the last 2 years. That's a lot. Acid burn, we're talking blindings, maiming. A young woman has told a terrifying acid attack on her 21st birthday that left her hospitalized and her cousin in a coma. Rajul Khan said she was traveling in a car through Beckland, East London on June 21st when a horrific incident occurred. Democrats, any of you watching? I blame you. I blame you and all your stupid comments as you come onto our channels and defend these people. I blame you. You should be ashamed of yourself. Ashamed of yourself. Look at this girl. Does she look at all like she used to? She will. Maybe. With, you know, look at her. Terrible. She's lucky she could see. Rasham tweeted, on my actual birthday, my cousin and I went for a drive in the morning, blasting music and chilling like cousins do. Hyping it as I was 21. But out of nowhere, she said a man approached the car as they waited at the traffic light and threw a liquid at her through the open window. Raslam, who said she had just returned from a year exchange in Cyprus, told how the assailant ran across to the other side and threw more on her cousin. Violent clashes erupt on the Algarve, she said. The pain was excruciating. I was struggling to close the window. My cousin struggling to get out of to get us away. I saw my clothes burn away right in front of me. He put his foot down. I guess our cousin is a boy. He put his foot down as we were coming onto the dual carriageway, but the pain took over and we crashed. We stripped in the middle of the road, running around screaming and begging for water. We did this for 45 minutes. Rashem said another driver eventually stopped and drove to the pair to the hospital before they were transferred to a specialist unit. She continued, I have had a skin graft and they are waiting on what my face will actually look like. I have burns across my body. My cousin was put into a coma as his burns were worse. He has been woken up and I've been waiting to... Oh, so they put him into a coma because it was so bad. He has been woken up and I'm waiting to be told I'm no longer bedbound to visit him. Rasham added, I'm devastated. I keep wondering if my life will ever be the same again. Acid attacks in the UK are unheard of for me. That's because you're not listening to the news, the right news. You're listening to the mainstream media. And the mainstream media in every country are all in on it and they're all lying. This isn't just happening in America. My 21st birthday, my glow up complete. Just got back from the country and now I'll probably never look the same. I'm so grateful to everyone that has prayed for me. I feel as though I'm blessed to have my limbs and senses, but I love my face and body. I just want this guy caught. I am. I'm so mad. I'm just so mad. Shame on you, liberals, Democrats, celebrities, mainstream media. Hannity just went after Acosta and the gloves are off. These things are heating up between Hannity and Acosta. Is this the end for CNN? The United States government will not be allowing camera coverage of today's White House briefing, audio only, embargoed until the end. This campaign, this is not, I'm sorry, that whole other story, I couldn't even read it correctly, and now I'm just, this is not campaign event. This is White House. We are sitting in a briefing room full of cameras and taxpayer-funded spokesperson at the podium. Shut up, Jim Acosta, shut up! Are you a liberal hack that worked for a network that colluded with Hillary Clinton and promotes fake news and conspiracy theories? And you are a liberal hack, he said. Alright, next story. I got so many. It's official, she's in. Yep, Karen Handel, Georgia Special Election, has been sworn in. We saw that a little while ago. Next. Obama calls out healthcare repeal, but he omitted one key fact. Just one small little fact. President Obama tweeted that healthcare has always been about something bigger than politics. It's about the character of our country. Is the character of our country defined by a leader who passed a law with the promise of, if you like your healthcare plan, you can keep your healthcare plan, knowing that it was a bold-faced lie? Pathetic. Breaking. The White House just had released a terrifying statement. According to the White House, another chemical attack may be incoming in Syria. What? The United States has identified potential preparations for another chemical weapons attack by the Assad regime that would likely result in the mass murder of civilians, including innocent children. The activities are similar to the preparations the regime made before its April 4, 2017 chemicals weapon attack. As we previously stated, the United States and Syria is in Syria to eliminate Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. If, however, Mr. Assad conducts another mass murder attack using chemical weapons, he and his military will pay a heavy price. White House says the U.S. has identified potential preparations for another chemical weapons attack by Syrian government. Wow. Check this out, folks. Supreme Court has made another ruling. Yeah. Yeah. In addition to the travel ban, the Supreme Court on Monday ruled that church daycares being blocked from state funding was unconstitutional. The Examiner report, the Supreme Court ruled Monday that Missouri's decision to prevent a church-operated daycare and preschool from receiving funding from a state program was unconstitutional. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the Supreme Court's 7-2 opinion, which reversed the Federal Appeals Court's ruling and sent the case back to the lower court for additional proceedings. The dispute in Trinity Lutheran Church of Columbia versus Comer included a state program that provided funding to nonprofits to resurface playgrounds, which ran into conflict with the provision of the Missouri Constitution that blocks public funds from directly or indirectly assisting any church, sect, or religion. The Missouri Department of Natural Resources has not subjected anyone to change or torture on account of religion, and the result of the state's policy is nothing so dramatic as the denial of the political office, Roberts wrote. In the High Court's opinion, the consequence is, in all likelihood, a few extra scrapes' knees, but the exclusion of Trinity Lutheran from the public benefit for which it is otherwise qualified solely because it is a church is odious to our Constitution all the same and cannot stand. Roberts' opinion provides the High Court's consensus in the case, except the footnote in his opinion that said the Trinity Lutheran case involved discrimination based on religious identity and did not address religious uses of funding or other forms of discrimination. Justice Neil Gorsuch and Clarence Thomas joined Roberts' opinion but disagreed with the distinction made in the footnote. Both Thomas and Gorsuch wrote separate concurring opinions in the join each other's concurrence. Gorsuch explained why he did not join Roberts' opinion in a footnote with some modest qualifications. He said, "The court leaves open the possibility a useful distinction might be drawn between laws that discriminate on the basis of religion status and religious use." Gorsuch wrote, respectively, "I harbor doubts about the stability of such a line. Does a religious man say grace before dinner? Or does a man begin his meal in a religious manner?" The distinction blurs in much the same way that the line between acts and omissions can blur when stared at too long, leaving us to ask, for example, when the man who drowns by awaiting an incoming tide does so by act, coming upon the sea, or omission, allowing the sea to come upon him. Often enough, the same facts can be described both ways. The Supreme Court waited several months before hearing the case with the full 9-justice bench after Gorsuch joined in April. Tempers flared among justices during oral arguments, particularly among Justice Sonia Sotomayor and Samuel Alito. Sotomayor said she thought the playground is part of the church ministries and highlighted the United States tradition of not funding religious institutions. Alito subsequently called Sotomayor out by name during the arguments. Alito questioned Trinity Lutheran lawyer about whether the attorney agreed with Sotomayor's suggestion that the Missouri Constitution provision had an admirable tradition, which gave Trinity Lutheran representation the opportunity to talk about the provision roots in anti-Catholic bigotry. On Monday, Sotomayor took the unusual step of reading her dissent, joined by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, aloud from the bench. That was a huge story. I mean that both ways. It was long and very big. Wow, CNN Jim Acosta broke the rules with his latest tantrum. CNN Acosta broke no camera rule at today's press briefing by snapping a picture of Press Secretary Sean Spicer in the act of defiance. That's funny. Look at Sean. He's like, "You stupid dummy. You jerk." Spicer's thinking, "You jerk." Look at her. They're like, oh, she's getting up. Or she's sitting down. One of the two. Okay, here's one Spicer. Okay, here's one Spicer pick. The White House continues refusal to answer reporters' questions on cameras had journalists steamed on Monday after an off-camera briefing where only audio was allowed and was barred from broadcast until the conclusion of the session. CNN's Jim Acosta especially angry with White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer and let him have it during a gaggle that another reporter noted was a drastic shift from past precedent yet appears to be the new normal. Why are cameras off, Sean? Why do you turn them off? Can you just give us an answer to that? He asked. Can you tell us why you turn the cameras off? Why are they off? That's it. That's the whole story. Don't have Sean Spicer's answer. Probably was something like, it's off because it is. And President Trump wants it that way. Next. Yeah, so that's it. Those are all my stories for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and smash that like button. When you subscribe, you have to also now accept the notifications and hit the bell or something like that. So you click subscribe, hit the bell, accept notifications, and you're in.